been just over a year since 5G was officially switched on in Australia, but 12 months on, has 5G lived up to the hype? Let's ask our Sunday morning tech expert, Djuro Sen. Come in, Djuro, from your Maroubra bunker. 5G was hailed as a game changer. Is it?
Good morning from the bra, as they call it, Tim. Well, it is a game changer, but not yet. It certainly, I don't think, has quite lived up to the hype in its first year. I feel like I've been talking about 5G for 5 years, and it's pretty close to it. I think I was one of the first people to do a story on 5G. But the other day, Telstra announced or released its new wireless modem, and it's taking advantage of the millimetre wave spectrum. That's at 26 gigahertz. So I know that doesn't mean much to anyone else, but let's just say it's a very high frequency compared to what mobile phones are using right now. Even 5G that's being used out and about right now is nowhere as fast as 26 gigahertz. Now, this is on trial, but even though it's a trial, there are three places in Australia you can actually use this millimetre wave capability. 2 on the Gold Coast and 1 at Parramatta. Now, Tim, I went out to Parramatta yesterday and I tried to get my millimetre wave action going, and I really couldn't get in the right spot. This stuff is super sensitive, absolutely super sensitive. And I think we've got to wait a couple of years before 5G really ramps up, because this is real 5G. This millimetre wave stuff that has just been launched by Telstra. The auctions go for the spectrum next year, so I don't think we're going to see real 5G for another couple of years.
So you're saying basically don't buy 5G phones now?
I'm not saying don't buy it, because you probably won't be able to avoid buying them because everyone makes them. These 5G phones that are coming out are much better than the phones that come before them, and you will be able to use them in certain areas. You've got to be careful with some of the 5G phones that you buy. If you buy something that's cheap, nasty, it may not work with future generations of 5G technology as we get faster and faster. But by then, you'll probably get a new phone anyway. I think Apple's pulled the right rein here in not actually bringing out rushing a 5G phone. I think they wanted to get one out there, but there's a lot to come down the track. Look, the potential here is great, and what Telstra's doing is by far and away a world leader. We were third in the world, Tim, to have 5G across this planet, and this millimetre wave stuff is very early days. It only works over a couple of 100 metres, so it's very susceptible. It's a very weak system, the 5G at the high frequency that we're used to. However, it is very accurate with beamforming, so they can actually follow you around the radio waves to get to your phone and targeting. It's all great stuff, but we're just not there yet.
I need to find out more about all this stuff from you, because, as you know, we are at two ends of the spectrum when it comes to technological knowledge. I'm an absolute fool in this area. But what about the whole conspiracy around coronavirus and 5G?
I've got to say, this is really disappointing. I mean, I've had a couple of off-the-record discussions with engineers, and it really is hurting them to know that people that don't have any idea about wireless technology are now using what is a great technology and then putting it up against conspiracy theories for what COVID-19 is about. And, it is an issue because 5G has had to deal with some health questions. That's been cleared up by everyone. Like 4G uses more power anyway. So 5G, as we get higher in frequencies, is actually, well, to use a better term, much safer. So 5G is going to bounce off objects and even rain. But I think these conspiracy theories don't help. They show a real lack of scientific knowledge. And if you don't have that scientific knowledge, then what are you talking about? You really are causing trouble when it doesn't need to be.
On the front foot this morning, Djuro. Just very quickly, if you've got an older car, Amazon has a cheap way to make it smart. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of older cars here, and it's available to order online. So have you got your digital assistant like Alexa, so you can actually take it with you in the car. $79 is available for pre-order right now, out later in June. And it's got 8 microphones on there, so even if the kid's screaming, you can then talk to your system back home, tell it to turn the lights on or whatever else, or just listen to music, and that connects through your phone. But that's it. It just sits in your dash, $79. So if you've got an old battler of a vehicle, then this is a way to modernise it for just $79 through Amazon to get yourself a digital assistant in the car. And it works really well, even with a top down, which you probably do a fair bit in the convertible.
The convertible I don't have. I'll pop that in the old Mazda 3, which is a beautiful little motor vehicle. Good to speak to you, Djuro.
Oh, yes.